Bonnie Dining, everyone. This is Professor Alman Rahh, Professor Emeritus, California State University of Long Beach. Um, also, a retired professor from Compton Community College, where I taught African American history, ethnic studies, as well as psychology. A former member of the Compton College Board of Trustees, Compton Unified School District Board of Trustees, and a former member of Compton City Councils. I want to welcome all of you to the Conscious Corner and give and my co-host, hopefully he'll join us a little later, Brother Joe Hembrick, longtime educator from the in Linwood and Unified School District, where he was an administrator and teacher, and the first Black head coach, varsity football coach for the Linwood Unified School District, as well as a self-made and self-developed historian of our history, culture, and spirituality. I want to welcome my brother. I want to say, give nothing but praise and thanks to Brother Rashaki Maskani, formerly Regal Moore, who put forth this platform called the Community Education Network, which he lets us give our Conscious Corner on his platform, and we deeply appreciate that, where we speak truth to the people. And it's true, first speak truth to the people, then we speak truth to power. We want to welcome the good doctor. The good doctor has a whole attache case full of prescriptions, social, psychological, and cultural prescriptions. And one of the brightest minds that we have on the panel. We want to welcome Brother Mashinda, deep out of the South, Louisiana, where the struggle begins and begins and begins, and the people resist and resist and resist. And he's a long-time educator from the standpoint of working with youth and working with various community groups. And we thank him for being a part of our community, our Conscious Corner platform. Tonight we got two topics we're going to deal with. First of all, I just want to say, it's just good that we are doing years of this, and we want to thank Arasaki for keeping this afloat. That's how you build institutions. It's longevity. When you can say we've been on the air for 10 years, 15 years, that becomes an institution. We want to say Asante Sana to him, which is many things. But we want to talk, first of all, about the first topic is, should Black people vote for Biden this year or Trump? And then second, because that reason we're going to talk about that is because according to the European polls, that 30% of Black people are dissatisfied with Biden and very upset about a number of reasons. And I want to get the panel perspective on that. And because Biden carried a large percentage of the Black vote when he won, but he's losing Black people and so-called young people. And we want to discuss that. And the second, we want to discuss Black people and Thanksgiving. Dr. Khalid Muhammad wanted to turn Thanksgiving holiday into a Black holiday. He was going to call it Native American Appreciation Day or something close to that. But he's gone now, and it didn't really take off. He was trying to so I'll do what Dr. Maulana Karenga did with Kwanzaa, but he never got the footing. So we're going to start off just finding out what is the political perspective, even if you don't vote, or don't believe in politics or something like that. Like some people are atheists, they don't believe in God. There are plenty of people who don't believe in politics. I respect that. It's, you're an individual, but a lot of people do. And so we'll start with Mashinda. Mashinda,
Hey, Professor Rahh,
yeah.
before we get started, let me just thank you for being an inspiration of all of what we do, because I started with you back in I would say the mid 80s, or what year was it? Well, late 80s. when I finished playing basketball at Long Beach State. And then, through your teachings and the community work you've been doing for years, it just serves as a inspiration to me to continue and to, be aside you while you're doing your wonderful work. And we're gonna keep doing this until we can't do it no more. So I just want to thank you for being a good inspiration to all of us, because everybody gives thanks and praise for the work you have done all through the year. So I greatly appreciate that.
Much too kind.
All right.
You much too kind. I say, Asante, son, that's part of the struggle. When you see an issue, what can you do about it? I'm working on my new project will be a rites of passage for young people, for young men and young women at St. Timothy Episcopal Church. They're going to provide me the space. And it's going to be like a camp to just training young people on self-discipline, hygiene, leadership, individuality, being the best that they could be, and the importance of maturity and responsibility. And we have I'm going to go over that project later on the show, and have Rashiki put the goals and objectives, have Rashiki put the goals and objectives on the screen. But right now, Machinda, what do you think about this coming up politics? I know it's a year off, but people are doing polls and things of this nature. Are you getting a feel from Louisiana?
Well, yeah, my take on it is, it's when it comes to politics, it looks like, as time goes on, Black people as a whole, and I think it's more of the newer generations aren't really participating, in politics. That's why you have low voter turnout. That's why you don't have people, people are mesmerized by social media. So, so what I mean by that is, someone can come up with a statement and it can go viral. And if you pick up on the statement, say pertaining to Donald Trump or Joe Biden, pro or con, people tend to be very vulnerable and very impressionable about other people's perspectives. And so it's kind of like, in other words, it's very dangerous, what's going on, and so the minds of the people are not really focused on, what's really at hand, what's going on, So I say that to say that whether it's Joe Biden or Donald Trump, me personally, I would, if I had to vote, I would go vote and pick one, that kind of thing. People have a right to vote for whoever they want to vote for. You have people with different interests. You have people who own property and own businesses and things like that. So, if they're going to, if one guy is going to give them tax breaks and cut out, you're going to run with the rich, so to speak, or try to coattail the rich, pick up on some of those benefits. Years ago, I had a friend of mine, a co-worker, supervisor. He said he votes Republican. It ain't got nothing to do with really the person. It's just the policies, that kind of thing, And so he said, hey, so in other words, he's going what's going to benefit him. My perspective is, I don't look at it for myself. I look at it for the masses. And so, I tend to vote what's going to affect the majority of our people, in terms of, so in other words, the lessers of the two evils, or the one that's going to lean toward, uh, something that's, that makes sense, something that makes real sense, that's practical, that makes sense, that's going to help people. So people aren't really, well, when I say people, there's a lot of people who aren't politically inclined, and people aren't voting, so you mentioned down south, down here, there's low voter turnouts. That's why you have a super majority in the government. Starting in January, you have an extreme MAGA slash whatever that's going to be the governor. The House and the House of Representatives, the state representatives and in the state Senate, they're all to the right. Far to the right. So no telling what's about to happen, as far as programs for the kids and the schools and things like that and what have you. So the people that don't get out and vote and put these people in, or put their person in, they're going to reap the benefits, or they're going to feel the raft of the aftermath. So although that's local elections, state elections, it reverberates across the country. It's from the presidential elections and all that kind of stuff. So, unless people really, wake up, if they people are sound asleep, and social media has their minds. It used to be CNN and Fox and CNBC and MSNBC. Those channels had their mind, but now, hell, the social media has their mind now, so it's I always said in previous podcasts that, everybody is competing for your time and for your mind. And they want you to follow their, their narrative. So anyway, it's, that's why you see an hourglass there. Time is running out. Time is running out. We in the beyond the 11th hour, and I don't know. I think my good man, brother doctor, say it ain't gonna change. Well, hey, and I know what he means by that. Of course, there's always a mathematical possibility, but it's like, hey, it's a wake up call. It's like, but people are doing what they want to do. So and I've expressed myself to people close to me. I'm like, hey, you know what? Unless you're in my path, I'm retired, man. It's too much. I'm not going to wear myself out, and I've been in a struggle for all my life. I would say since I was a little kid. I've been in protests when I was a little kid. I've been conscious. I've been part of stuff, been passing it on. In college, I was conscious. I was involved, and beyond that, I've been involved in elections all my life, and trying to make change. But at the end of the day, I'm saying is, so my report is a grim report, and I don't mean to be negative, because my cup is half full, and but I'm just keeping it real. I'm giving you a grim report. Today the stock market lost some points. The Dow was down a little bit. So it does go up and down. It fluctuates. So, but it seems like we've been on a constant negative trajectory, talking about our people. Now, there's a lot of positive stories, as you always say, Professor. That there's some positive things to talk about. And we could talk about a lot of positive things, but as it relates to politics and those type of things, hey, all these services and things like that people are used to, and money and grants and all of that, some of these things are about to be cut out, especially down here. And it's going to go national if, certain people get in office. So, but
Tim, what do you think are the major issues on the national level and on a local level in your area that would get people out to vote, or turn them off from voting?
Well, I think there's just a level of apathy. People, like I said, there's all kind of hot button item. You could talk about abortion, you could talk about health care, you could talk about education, you could talk about there's all kind of, like I say, items to talk about, the main ones to talk about, but so I think it represents what's represented at this level here locally and at the state level. It's the same as nationally. I mean, people are just taking sides and they don't even know why they're taking sides. So what can get them to come out? Well, how can we get people to turn around? Hey man, I just said that they're being programmed by remote control. Social media has their minds. TikTok, Instagram, all of that. They're bombarded with that. If you look at people have their face in their phone all the time. Okay, so that means that something's in that phone. And I do experiments. I ask people, "What are you looking at? What are you doing?" And it's just the people are playing games. I mean, people aren't serious. I mean, they're doing what they want to do. I mean, really, it's almost reduced to, I mean, and I don't want to be judgmental, but politics ain't one of them. They're not sitting around talking about the election. If you're 18, 19, 20, all the way to 30 years old, nobody, 45 years old, they're not talking about the election and what's going on. They do have people those ages that are politically inclined, but the overall average in my everyday walk of life, people aren't discussing those things. They will go vote. Some of them will go vote. They'll go vote on something. They just had an election here Saturday, okay? Just Saturday. They had a guy that was a white guy that was a two or three term sheriff. And the blacks voted for him all the time, because he knows how, he's a politician and he knows how to play the game. And he lost to a dude that don't have any political experience. He announced that, hey, he jumped on the Trump bandwagon when he won his third term. He said, hey, I'm going to the Republican Party. This is the day after he won, or a few days after he won, he decided that he's going to go with the Republicans. He was riding the Trump wave where it backfired on him. And so I said that to say that, the people woke up, I guess you could say, and say, hey, we're not going to vote for you because, you was a Democrat and now you just riding the wave of the Trump wave, but it backfired on him. So what I'm saying, people are playing these games with this Trump thing and all that kind of stuff. Black guy ran for state representative. He got wiped out. No, the blacks didn't get out to vote. If the blacks get out to vote, he wins. He wins. But it was a low voter turnout. Now, your question was, how do we get the folks out? Man, hey, let me know and we'll all be rich.
All right. Good. Good doctor. What do you see about should Black people participate or vote in this election? How do you feel about this statistic, as I was telling Mashinda, that a large percentage of Black people are losing, are not going to, are not supporting Trump, by Biden. And what do you feel are some of the critical issues that we face, if you think of any? Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, I'm kind of like with Mashinda on half his stuff. I always vote the third party. So Biden and Trump doesn't matter. Like I said, no one's getting out the vote. No one cares, man. Too many issues. People don't care. But always come on, and I agree that I always quote that great philosopher, Buddha Baruka. You got a politician stay the same, a politician change my mind. So nothing's going to change. It's just the same rhythm, man. Everything's a rhythm. You get a little crumb, a little biscuit here, but nothing really is going to change, man.
A biscuit, huh?
Yeah, that's going to change. Vote for whoever you want. Things going to stay the same. Most, nothing's going to really change. It's going to stay the same. You get a little victory here, a little victory there. You move from fifth place to second place. You're never going to come in. You're never going to be in first place. So to me, you're always going to lose. We're always going to be losers. So,
but you watch football, Doc?
Yeah, a little bit here and there. I'm not really a big fan, but I watch it here and there.
You watch
Yeah.
college and
I got in college
and-
like everybody else with Deion Sanders of Colorado, all that hype. I started
yeah.
watching it, you know.
What about pros?
I'm not that big of a fan.
All
You know,
right.
I watch it here and there, but you know, I just know a few players. So I'm not into that much.
Well, and I like you mentioned to say, it appears like things don't change. But do you agree that there was a time there was no black quarterbacks, no black centers, no black middle linebackers, and now you got the first top 4 quarterbacks since 5 really since Brady left are black.
So by getting more quarterbacks, do we get more people voting?
No,
How did
but
that
that's
change the black? How did that like you always call it, Professor? How does that change the black struggle with a couple more black quarterbacks?
Well, no, I'm not equating it to struggle.
Did we all get a raise because black quarterbacks?
No, but what happened was that was the result of struggle.
And who are they? Who are they bosses though?
Well, yeah, well, I agree, but that's a step in the right direction. It's harder to own a football team than to become a United States senator because all the coaches, all the owners got the vote. But I'm just saying that there has been a change in pro football. Black people used to not be able to be quarterback. The first one was Shaq Harris. Then Joe. Broadway Joe from Pittsburgh, Joe Ferguson, I forget his name. And now you got black quarterbacks that are rated the top quarterbacks in pro football. So that's a change. That's the thing I was pointing at.
Change for who?
For the sport and young.
How does that help black people? It help 5 black quarterbacks. How does it help the struggle?
I'm gonna tell you. It develops young athletes that get scholarships, get education, get social wealth, get wealth. There was a football player who retired. He bought 125 homes for single parent mothers by himself. You got other people that's buying shoes, giving gifts, doing other things, and supporting the black football players. Remember, Carmack, he kneeled, and then a lot of people supported him on that. Even though he sacrificed his career to create change in the NFL. And then Black Lives Matter movement, all the athletes that participated in that. Years ago, you would never find a black athlete participating in any parts of politics or social stuff. I'm not saying that changes our individual life, but it changes the fabric of the structure of the system. Pro football has a profound effect on people. You watch it, hundreds of thousands of people go there. Yeah, they cheer for the black quarterback on the field, but they'll vote for Trump and they'll vote for white right wing. That's exploitation, of course. But I was just showing you that one of the goals of black people, just like Jackie Robinson changed baseball, now they changed it back and did more foreigners, black foreigners, black Latinos to play, and they classifying them as black. But at the same time, in the area of politics, there's been a lot of change also. You got a black woman that's a vice president. You had a black president. You had a black people in the Supreme Court. The sister just got appointed. And that's structural change, a political change, but social change has developed. You got more interracial marriages than ever before in history. You got more aspects of people trying to live, a spiritual life, integrated churches. There was a time no churches were integrated. Matter of fact, Martin Luther King said the most segregated day in America was Sunday. Now you got integrated churches, and that don't mean a lot to most people, but to social scientists, it shows a change in society to a certain degree. Some things haven't changed. I agree with you on that. They're still killing black people, but at the same time, you wouldn't have the United States Senate Democratic majority if it wasn't for the black vote. You know, you wouldn't have the challenges of that we have if it wasn't for the social activists. You know, you got people videoing police now. There was a time people, just took their ass whooping and went on home. You got more lawsuits. People are doing different things. It's just like people say we didn't benefit from the Watts Rebellion. But you got Martin Luther King Hospital, you got Kenneth Hahn Shopping Center, you got Meharry Institute, you got housing projects, Ujima Village, you got Watts Manufacturing, you got Watts Labor Community Action Agency, you had OIC, you had the Anti-Poverty Program, and you had Watts Manufacturing, you had WLCLAC, you had a lot of things happen from struggle. And and people don't see the change who are not noticing or seeing it from a social structure standpoint, but just from their individual perspective, which I respect. I respect that. But there was a time when, you got a lot of people that integrated communities now. It's a different. But I agree with you on your points.
But you mentioned it. Yeah, the second part, you mentioned things that a lot of Black people benefit from. You mentioned corporations, but I still don't see how we benefit from a few Black quarterbacks.
What? That's an industry. That's an industry, brother. That's an industry.
Yeah, but we're not benefit from that. Now, the other stuff you mentioned, other organizations, corporations, you benefit a whole.
But it creates opportunity, Doc. You don't think Black quarterbacks inspire young kids? How do you think them young cats?
But those are individual achievements for one person. It's not like everybody can grow up and be a number one quarterback.
I remember one time, man.
But everybody can go up and get a job from that struggle that you guys fought for.
It's a demonstration.
For rights of civil service. I mean, there was a time when, like you were saying, civil service, you couldn't get a job. Yeah. And you guys fought for getting jobs. That benefit everybody that can just go up, get a high school education, go get a job. But everybody can't grow up and be that quarterback. So it doesn't benefit us. When you take away all the way Black quarterbacks, nothing's changed. Nothing but you can't take away the struggle you guys fought for that benefit us to become teachers, doctors, lawyers, janitors. That benefit the person ain't just the normal person.
But I like that. I like that. I like that. I like your analysis. But they all connected. A football is an institution, it's sports entertainment. And second, it inspires a lot of people. When we used to watch the ball and be only one Black, and he dropped the ball, we said, "Oh damn! If he catch the ball, brother, please catch that ball. Please do this." But now you can say, "Hey, look, we got Black excellence. They have not only started playing the football, they're in positions that they normally wouldn't have." But I agree with you. To some people, it don't mean nothing because they're not into sports. But if you young kids playing Pop Warner and young kids playing college ball, and you want to be a quarterback, there's an opportunity. And this came from struggle and it came from development. That's the only thing I'm saying. I agree with you. It's an individual achievement. You understand? But it benefits the inspiration of people. When people saw Mahomes and Jalen Hurts play this past Sunday, and when Doug Williams, the first African-American brother that played in the Super Bowl, and a lot of them that play don't do it for social change. They do it because they're individually talented. I remember Doug Williams kept saying, "I don't want to be known as a Black quarterback. I just want to be known as a Redskins quarterback." Well, you wouldn't have that talent if you weren't Black, though. Your Blackness is what put you over the other athletes, throwing the ball 100 yards and all that. But still, I understand there's a lot of Black actors. I don't want to be known as a Black actor. I want to be known as just an actor. That's what Sidney Poitier used to say all the time. But the white people gonna still say you Black. no matter what you want. That's why I'm saying when you say there ain't no change, yeah, they still saying we ain't nothing with all our achievements. But that's why you got to write your own history and tell your own history. And there are a lot of young kids that are inspired by sports that leads to scholarships, leads to character development, leadership development, and determination. I'm agree with you. I challenge sports because I taught a class exploitation of the black athlete, which I'll get into later. But you make some good points, Doc. That's an individual achievement, and so is some people argue that's what politics is. When you get a black woman vice president, that's her. They don't benefit us, but to a certain degree, it do when they can do things that they can do, even if it's covertly with the resources they have. That's a good point. You have any other comment, Doc?
No, he was asking something else about we're voting on or something. What was the second part? The second part about the agendas or whatever.
We're gonna go. Well, the next question is gonna be about Thanksgiving, but this question was: should we vote for Biden or Trump because of the statistical polls that white folks been giving on TV? That 30% of black people are dissatisfied with Biden, and he's losing their vote because of the war and because of a lot of other issues.
Yeah, so I'm a third party guy.
Yeah. You got Cornel West. You got Cornel West running. You got one of the Kennedys running. You got probably this boy that's leaving Virginia gonna run on the no-name politics. The one that
it's gonna be interesting. But I don't, I just don't see Biden running, man. I don't, even if we did win, I don't think he's going to make it through those 4 years, man.
But then the black woman would be president. I mean, if he don't make it, and that's one of the reasons.
Is she going to be on the ticket next time around?
Yeah, he already.
They're going to try to double up. He already said it.
Yes, he already said it.
Okay, we'll see. We'll be back on what?
But that's what white folks are using to say don't vote for him. It ain't his age.
11 months from now, we'll be back on talking.
All right.
11 months and 2 weeks.
All right. Big Joe, we was talking about, we're going to talk about 2 topics. And we were talking about should black people support Biden or the Democratic nominee for president. Are you there, Joe?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. What's your position?
I don't suffer from the illusion of inclusion. But it's the lesser of 2 evils, which is probably Biden. But corporate America is running the show. I don't doggone it, Biden or Trump. But I kind of agree with Doc to a degree that stuff don't change. And on the athletic end, most of them cats, they end up marrying white women and they get all their money anyway. But the first black quarterback was Pollard and then Marlon Briscoe before Shaq Harris. And Briscoe played in the Super Bowl, and the next year they moved him back to receiver. But what I would like to see from these brothers who are making all this money, I wish they would establish some, instead of just giving out tennis shoes and bikes and some damn backpacks, that they would develop some kind of community institutions for the black kids to go to, where they can do sports and have a library and, place to go. I haven't seen any of them do that. Even in that school that so-called LeBron owned, which he don't own that school at all. That's a public school, which can't be owned by an individual. They bull crap in the community about his school. It ain't his school. It's a public school, and he can't own it. But anyway, and most of the staff is white folks anyway. But anyhow, I ain't knocking what he's doing, just telling the truth about what it is. But we need. I like the theory of Claude Anderson when it comes to politics. Until we're united and doing something as a block of people, we really just farting in a windstorm, you know. And that's just my take on it. Ain't got to be right, but just that's my perspective on the whole thing. We had a black president. We got all them other politicians in there, but I see very little that are benefiting the black community, so to speak. I wish Adam Clayton Powell would come along, who would at least talk truth to power. These Negroes won't even talk truth to the power. So they're just getting paid, moving up the social stratification scale with them salaries, all that. But I wish we were more like a Booker T instead of W.E.B. Same thing happened with that. The talented 10th. The talented 10th went to college, got all their stuff, then they moved out the community. But anyway, that's my perspective on it.
Well, that's good, but you don't think some black athletes are building institutions or are doing things like Jalen, he used to come on ESPN, a basketball player. He works with his
school. That's one. That's one example. Good.
Yeah. But then again, throughout history, I mean, Jackie Robinson did a lot. His foundation, even though he was a Republican, he did a lot with his foundation, a youth foundation. A lot of them have basketball camps and work with young people. A lot of them have educational support systems. I remember my son, who was principal at LA Unified, he had the black people build him a gym, help build a gym, weight room, and all of that. I remember even the two ball players from Long Beach went back to their alma maters and built gyms or gave them money for scholarships. My point is that I understand what you're saying. There's an exploitation. The majority of the athletes spend it as they get it, and they're not into politics, they're not into that. And that's been the history. But some of them are waking up and really doing positive things in the community, even though it may not be institution building from that standpoint, but feeding people, feeding the homeless, buying 100 turkeys and giving them away. To some people, that's meaningful, because nobody have to be nice. Nobody have to do anything for anybody. But when people do, there are a lot of athletes, and Joe, you won. You see the positiveness that comes out of a support system. I know you went in your pocket a lot of times to help some of your athletes, feeding them and doing it. And to some people that don't mean nothing, but it means a lot to a kid.
Oh yeah.
It means a lot to a kid to have, because to them they're their role model, and they're heroes, and they're their aspirations. It's a bunch of exploitation and abuse in pro ball by whites. Most white athletes don't do nothing for their community. And most celebrities don't, but at the same time, I mean, you look at a Motown, they never built studios in communities to develop talent searches. You understand that there's a lot of industries that could have done more. They weren't conscious, or either they were just greedy, or they just, Oprah, they've done a lot of good things. You have the Williams sisters. They opened up a school in Africa, and they bought interest in the Miami Dolphins. You have a couple of other people that bought schools, and Oprah made a school in Africa and is still working. Some entertainers, some athletes. Manute Bol, I was with him, and he, went back to his home country and built hospitals. Elijah Wan did a lot for his continent, on the continent, and helping.
That brother Kermit Washington.
Yeah.
And him, he went back to Africa and was establishing stuff over there for like 25, 30 years after being abandoned.
Yeah. Kermit was the one that knocked the white boy out on the basketball court.
Right.
Broke his jaw.
Yeah.
So
there's some people that do, but what the kids see from these jokers is jury and doggone rims. For that bull crap and anything else. But one thing, what I really inspired by the Philly quarterback,
Jalen Hurts.
When he came out of the news conference, he had a hat on with an X on it. I was glad to see that, but I didn't hear no questions asked about what the X stand for. I know it's Malcolm,
Yeah, and he's one of the few athletes
Hey,
that
Joe.
a black man.
Hey, I was, when I saw that X, I was thinking about that. Do you know X is Twitter now also?
X is what?
Twitter.
That's Twitter.
Yeah.
Change the name from Twitter to X.
So I know what I was thinking about it.
I didn't get that.
Twitter has changed to its symbol is X now.
Whose symbol?
Twitter, the platform Twitter.
Twitter.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that stuff.
Oh, okay. Well,
y'all know it.
Well, see,
I don't know.
I was thinking about it.
I was hoping it means win by any means necessary. That's what I was hoping it meant.
Oh yeah, but see, it could have, and he could have been questioned. I'm pretty sure somebody gonna say something at some point. But I looked at it and I was like, interesting. And then I said maybe he could probably, if somebody came at him, he could say, "Oh, this is Twitter." But I'm glad that he did have the X on because I thought that was a good sign. But I just wanted to put that in there.
One thing I love about him, he's shown to be one hell of a leader of men on the field. He's a hell of a leader, which I'm glad to see that. I wish more of the brothers was like that,
Well, Brother Rashiki, what do you think about the political landscape of Black people participation in the presidential election?
Well, I want to piggyback off of what Brother Mashinda was saying, that the attention is in this social media, and I could I could agree with that, and I think going to where the people are kind of help, but it's what they think is hip or not. What interests them, especially these young people. And I've noticed a lot of social media is filthy. It's a lot of debates. Education would help. I mean, I'm glad that you decided to do what you're going to do with the church. It's got to be platforms out there that address political issues and everything. And we have to put in work to educate, to sway people's attention towards things that's meaningful. And I'm kind of guilty of I love dominoes. And I'm on my phone like Brother Mashinda said, people had that phone. But I don't compete on a basketball court no more, but I compete with them dominoes. I get really into that. So yes, we,
Mm.
you know, I think we have to educate, and it's unfortunate that the attention is towards things that's not constructive and meaningful. But personally, well, you said that the percentage Biden is losing percentage of the black vote. Well, what
No, the
Biden
polls say that.
the polls, okay, so that could be skewed. Okay, but I could see that happening because of the backing of the killings there in the Gaza Strip. You know, that's real bad. And then Trump with all his indiscretions, and he's still leading the Republicans in that attempt. So it's just it don't look all that great. But I just say we keep educating and putting things out there to compete with the attention that's being put on social media and things of that nature. But yeah, it's a grim. What Brother Machinda said, it looks grim. I kind of think it does too, but we have to just keep
Yeah.
struggling and fighting.
Mm. Well, you know, the majority of Black people that are registered voters are very, very, very much into voting. We have the largest percentage of our ethnic group that vote, that are registered voters. Of course, other ethnic groups with a bigger population have more people voting, but they don't have the higher percentage. Their people vote different ways, but we are mainly Democrats. Only 10% Black people vote Republican, sometimes less than that. But the point is that you look at what Malcolm said during the Ballad of the Bullet album and speech. He said, Republicans are political wolves and Democrats are political foxes. Democrat ain't nothing but a Dixiecrat. He said, Republicans are political wolves and Democrats are political foxes. One just tell you can't do it. One make you think you can do it, as Joe would say, and you still ain't made no progress in certain institutions. They all belong to and Malcolm would say they both canines, and they both belong to the dog family. And to a certain degree, this is playing out in Elijah Muhammad's theory of the trickeration of the white man. He's very tricky. He make you think that the criminal is the victim, and the criminal is the victim, and the victim is the criminal. And so you have this dynamic of, will Black people fall in line like they generally do when it comes down to the election? You watching genocide in Palestine, as you know, and they're using words that the average person don't decipher. Like they used to say, we're going to Africa to get slaves. No, you went to Africa to get Africans, and you brought them over here and enslaved them. They're people. You're not bombing Palestinians, you're bombing human beings. You're bombing people, you understand? You're not suppressing Palestinians, you're oppressing people. They're not oppressing Black people. You're suppressing human beings. They're taking land, stealing land, doing all those things. And so when it comes down to Biden or Trump, they do the same thing. They both are liars. They both are imposters. Here's a man that says he's a Catholic, Biden, and that he believes in Christianity and God, want to have communion, and strong patriot of America, and really believe in democracy except for when it comes into the Palestinians. They make you think that the Palestinians just woke up one day and said, let's go kill some Israelis and found a way to get in and took 1,200, took 200 some hostages. They don't know who was shooting who. They have to do forensics on the people that have been shot because people are challenging that the Palestinians ain't raped nobody. You ain't had one hostage or one person say they raped people. But the news say that they raped. And then they say they kidnapped these people from Israel. But what is Israel doing to the Palestinians has been doing? Trade, they call their people hostages and kidnap people. And they call the Palestinians that they arrest, even kids and babies, terrorists, future terrorists. And not having no trial and nothing, just in prison in Israel, in a camp. No trial, no nothing. So if they could have negotiated, and they're negotiating now, and according to Biden and them, why didn't you do that first? Why didn't you say, hey, okay, Hamas, what can we do to get these hostages back? And with the question of the 1,200 dead, that's a whole new different question. But as far as going in there and bombing and having over 1 million people displaced because of what somebody else did, and then claiming all these tunnels and that thing. One thing, they have to negotiate. They make it look like the bombing made the Palestinians negotiate. No, they couldn't find the hostages. They couldn't get people to tell them where it was. So they had to negotiate. You understand? But they're going to play it like that. Same thing, you got to listen to the terms, the concepts, because they're tricky. They're tricky. They call these people terrorists. Hamas is a government. It's a philosophy. You understand? They're not a specific group, but they have you thinking they're terrorists. Like they used to tell us when we was fighting for South Africa to get the Boers and the European out. These are guerrillas. You understand? They're guerrillas. They outcasts. You understand? You got to pay close attention to how he's speaking to his people to get them normalized and things of this nature. But the point is, when it comes to voting, Biden is just a bigger liar as Trump in many ways. You understand? And Trump is just a wolf. He'll tell you, I'm going to get rid of all y'all. Biden does it differently. He wants people to suffer peacefully, as Malcolm said. He wants the Palestinians to live in the Gaza Strip. When Israel telling them who can come out the strip when, they have to have papers, how much food they can get, what material they can get, because everything's a weapon, can be weaponized. You understand? And Biden can't even say that they're making war crimes. He don't have no problem saying, oh, we're putting out a thing on the Russian president. He's a war criminal. But you can't call Israel a war criminal. And they every time they talk about the deaths, every time the people, Israel got a blackout. And they say, don't believe nothing nobody else say unless it comes from us. They approve all news reports. I'm a victim of that. In my case, white man was working for the DA that wrote the article for the Times on me. You know me and Omar. The DA wrote what he wanted him to say. You understand? He was just a freelance reporter, but he worked for the DA. He worked for the district attorney. They put a newspaper article out that we piggy bank robbers and we stole all this money. We had money in China. We had money They first investigated us for bribery. They couldn't find no bribery. Then they investigated us for something else. They raided City Hall twice. They criminalized us. The FBI did. The FBI told them, "Man, we out of here. We ain't found nothing. We ain't found nothing." And then the DA said, "Well, we'll just give them for the use of credit cards. Credit cards in our name that the city manager, according to the charter, can approve every expenditure." And then the sorry city attorney wouldn't even step up and tell the truth because he had used his credit card. He had used, not credit card, but he took out airline tickets and gave it to his secretary for her birthday and his tickets to the Black Hawk. Judge said, "You can't even bring that up." Parrott and the mayor who took over my place, he used his credit card. You can't even mention his name in closing arguments or open arguments or bring up his credit card. This is just between you guys. You know, I mean, but nobody ever asked me what happened. You know, they just took the white man position on the newspapers, whatever they said. And then they listened to Omar, but Omar, you know, he's a head case at times, and nobody, you know, but anyway, I'm just telling you, that's what Biden does. He got the people thinking, "Oh, I love Black people. Yes, I love humanity. For God's sakes, we're the United States of America." That's what he always say. Why did you don't sit there and side with these people killing over 19,000 people and over displacing 1.5 million and can't say it's wrong? And then tell you don't believe what the news is saying. Don't believe these articles. Yeah. And then at the same time, Trump do the same thing. Trump tell you, look, you know, don't believe what nobody else say. I'm your retribution. Believe me. And so when it comes down to politics, we got a few choices. You can just sit it out. Don't vote for nobody, but vote for your interests, as Machinda said, on local issues and state issues and other persons that you want. Or you can choose one of as the good doctor said, independence. That's the second choice. You understand, Black people. Third is Joe say you vote your interest. You know, whatever your interest is, because you know you look. And Machinda said this too. You know, that's what most Black people vote. We do vote in a group, the overwhelming majority. And we've had Black parties. We had the Mississippi Freedom Party. We had the Lowndes County Independent Party, Black Party. That's where the Black Panthers got their name from, their symbol from, Lowndes County. We've had a number. We had the Colored People Party back in 1800, 1700. We had a number of people trying to start independent parties, but it takes money and it takes power, and then people wipe them out, wipe their leadership out. You understand? Every Black politician that stood up got indicted, the majority of them. Charles Diggs out of Detroit, he was the first. He's the only Black man who went to Emmett Till's funeral, congressman. And he's from Detroit. Emmett Till was out of Chicago. The next couple of years, he gets indicted. You know, there's just been a number of them, you know. And my point is that we have two structured politics. One, our personal leadership, you understand, groups and individuals that they consider the voice of Black people. Like right now, it's Sharpton. Before it was Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Those are people that we rely on, that non-elected. It's in the group leadership. Dr. Karangan and A. Philip Randolph and even Du Bois, you know, because Du Bois changed from that talented 10 and left the country and tore up his passport. But the point is that, you know, That's in a group. Then you have Euro-American electoral politics. And politics do matter because people make decisions that affect your life, directly or indirectly. And that's what Machine be talking about. They got a white right wing, which is another word for racist, that they're using now instead of saying they're racist. They just far right, you know. So, but anyway, voter registration is very difficult, and voting. If it didn't mean nothing, why are they stopping you? Why are they making you still in long lines and things? So it do mean something. And then it's doctor, it's group and individual, from the standpoint of our politics. You indirectly are voting as a group. It's just not, it's like having a caucus. The majority of Black people vote Democrat. Mickey Mouse could be running and they're going to vote Democrat if he's a Democrat. That's been our history. But anyway, we can do with that, but that's an interesting discussion from that standpoint. Well, our challenge is to win the hearts and minds of our people. Do we teach our children the value of politics? Not the school, not the advocates and the politicians, not the social side, but our families. Do we have that political discussion with our children? That when you get 18, I want you to become politically aware of who your city councilman is and what it is. And it's not just get an absentee ballot. I'll vote and you come and sign it. Any kind of strategy. But the point is that most of the time, I know my parents never discussed politics when I was coming up. They never, I don't even remember them voting. They're out the South. They was out in Louisiana. You understand? My father loved Kenneth Hahn, though. He helped him get a house. And matter of fact, when I got arrested in the Watts Rebellion, Kenneth Hahn sent his deputy down there to advocate for me at the juvenile court hearing because they was retaining everybody to get out. And my father went to him and he sent his deputy down there. They generally don't let anybody else in the court, but it was a lady, they let her in. So anyway, that's a long, different story. Then anyway, some of the major issues, gun reform, climate change, inflation, of course, the George Floyd police reform bill, the voting right bill, all of them are issues that people know they can say they for, but they know they ain't gonna pass. There's an old trick that Democrats use. Oh yeah, we for this, but they know that the majority of white people ain't gonna vote for it. You understand? And so they'll put it on the ballot, and they know it ain't gonna pass. They use them tricks all the time. You understand? But anyway, what about Thanksgiving, Joe? Should Black people support it?
If you agree with the annihilation of the red man, because that's all it is. I mean, it's good to, socialize with your family and all that, and the gathering. But as far as that pilgrim, all that old bull crap, is all it is. Just know what it is. Really, the annihilation of the red man is what it started. So that's it in a nutshell as far as I'm concerned. But if you want to And it kind of, anytime you celebrate your master's holiday stuff, you actually commit a cultural genocide against yourself. And I ain't saying don't do it because the whole nation is doing it, but just know what it is for real. That's my whole point of view.
What about you, Mashinda?
What was your question again? Was it about Thanksgiving?
Yeah. Do you think Black people should be into Thanksgiving? Do they know where it came from, who the Pilgrims was, and all that?
Well, I think that's part of understanding. Yeah, of course. Any information that you can get as far as making you come to realization and understanding, of course, if it's something that we gonna have a day off, and why do we have a day off? I'm off. So why do they give us a day off? That's the point. So if you don't understand why you got a day off, other than hey, they just letting you off. The children are out all week. The school. I'm at a college. They out all week. So I mean, it would behoove them to understand what's going on. But everybody's eating turkey on Thursday. Or they gonna have something. Uh, there are different variations of it. Some people don't believe in Halloween, so they might call it the harvest. They call the Thanksgiving the fruit of the harvest. People are giving away free turkeys and food to the community, some churches, and having fellowship with each other. So hey, more power to you. But as far as what Thanksgiving stands for, and I mean it's deep history. So but I'll probably be, I'm invited to go eat at somebody's house Thursday or tomorrow and Thursday and all that kind of stuff. But I don't get off until all
Yeah, what? You on mute?
if I'm in the town, they off work and I'm off work. We get together, But
I continue to be myself and speak my truth and that kind of thing, but there is some history to it, like brother Hembrick's, it's like you say, it's definitely a representation of something, and people need to know the origin of whatever the hell we doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about you, Doc?
Yeah, I agree with Joe Machinda. I just see it as I think we all kind of know the history now. I think it's important, just to be around family. Like Machinda said, hey, it's a day off. I remember when I was working, you look for the holidays, those paid holidays. And you take any day off, man. You're going to pay me for it. I don't care who we celebrating. Give you a tough time to be around family. That's when time Blacks can be around family. It's on holidays, man. You can't be around each other on other days, man, when you're working. So, we got, get together, Blacks get together and get their families. I think it's great, regarding the meaning, just give us a time to be around family. So I think it's important, to get days off to be around family, friends, or whatever. There's only time we're going to get.
And what about you, Rashiki? Rashiki, you on mute. You're on mute.
I have a whole perspective on holidays, and I'm just going to take you to it, and people can check it out. Go to the website, and it's under perspective writings, and it says, here's the article. It says, holidays, should people of color participate or celebrate? So I wrote about it, and check it out. It's only 2 pages. And I'm gonna just say, don't celebrate, educate, and also eat. That's all I ever do is eat. And, in preparation for Thursday, we have a show tomorrow night. So we're about learning and educating. And, Thanksgiving has a history. And, look it up. You can find out how the new natives pillaged the old natives. Sat down with them, did some things to them after they sat down with them, after they invited them in. So no, I don't get into holidays at all. The family, if the family want to hook up, come to the CEN show in Conscious Corner. We can have a whole bunch of celebrate. But no.
Well,
Yeah.
The word holiday come from holy, and it was mostly Christians and various religious groups that would take days off. Like Jews have their own holidays, and Christians had theirs, and Muslims had theirs, and Native Americans and other people from a spiritual standpoint. But it was, that's what it's supposed to be, a holy day, and that's the etymology of the word holy. And then they begin to commercialize it, and people begin to barter it and sell ornaments and sell gifts and sell this and sell that. That's why Jews don't celebrate Christmas, but they keep their stores open on Christmas and sell things. White Jews, Muslims the same way. They don't believe Jesus Christ was God's son. Neither one. And so, those are the issues. But a holiday is a ritual. That's all it is a ritual of a culture, as Joe was saying, and you were saying. Somebody was saying how it just teaches you to appreciate someone else's culture. Most Black people celebrate Thanksgiving because white folks, they celebrate Christmas because the white, they came up on the American rituals of holidays and holy days. Think you was telling me about the Black Israelites. So they may be celebrating Yom Kippur and all the other Jewish holidays. I'm not sure. I remember Yosef ben Israel, who passed, made the good he brought in the world last forever. He was the first one that took a group over to Israel, and they were discriminated against and God held. And the Ethiopians, the philosophers that Dr. Ben talked about, whose parents were Jewish, original Jews were not Black. That's why people look at Israel and say, why are all these white people in the middle of all them Arabs? You know what I'm saying? Why you turn God into a real estate agent? And you keep expanding your borders to take over the whole area. That was your goal. You take their water, you take their power, you take their food, But anyway, getting back to the holiday, Thanksgiving. Dr. Khalid Muhammad tried to start, as I was saying in the beginning, take Thanksgiving and turn it into something else. The Native Americans called it Thanks Truth Day. Some of them called it, I always call it Native American Appreciation Day in solidarity. Now, that don't mean you can't get together with family and celebrate, but you turn it into a cultural dynamic that fits your concept of what to be thankful for. I mean, the Christians and a lot of people say just being thankful that you're alive, giving thanks that you got a family that you can celebrate with. That's what Thanksgiving is. It had nothing to do with pilgrims. And as Malcolm said, when they landed on Plymouth Rock, the rock didn't land. They didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The rock landed on us. And so it's a lot to go about. Yeah, I mean, honey baked ham for some people, honey baked turkey, big feast. Some people, don't. Some people just volunteer and go out and feed the hungry. On the day of Thanksgiving, then go home and eat, whatever. I know my sons do that. You know, they go out, and, especially the one in Denver, Brother Omar, him and his wife will be out there serving people. It's a day in which we recognize the atrocities that the Native Americans, the first Holocaust in America, one of the major Holocausts, was the genocide against the Native Americans and the displacement of the Native Americans. And that's what the white so-called Jews in Israel is trying to do. They always use God as a real estate agent. And that God promised them this land. There's no difference between manifest destiny and Zionism. They both, God reserved this for me. God wanted me to have it. And everybody else was heathens and can be displaced. But anyway, I wish, as Rashki said, we'll be on tomorrow. But it's up to the individual and their consciousness as far as it's up to you. I mean, people eat a lot. They go to the hospital because their blood pressure rise, or they get constipated from eating too much, and they go through all kinds of changes on holidays with illnesses, eating everything they're not supposed to, gobbling down cobblers and pies. But at the same time, some people know how to control themselves. They just their relatives bring them a plate if they don't want to join the family. But like people say, the leftovers are better than the food on the day. You make the turkey sandwiches, you make the ham sandwiches, whatever, potato salad or whatever. But the point is, it's a challenging day, and I forgot. One of the panelists said, what you're doing is practicing the European culture. If you celebrate it from the standpoint of believing that the Native American and the Pilgrim sat down and had the first Thanksgiving, they didn't even have turkey then. Turkeys came years later. But the point is that we'll enjoy it. We can't stop the masses. They're out there in the shopping centers now, mad because they can't get what they want, but and searching because we shop at the last minute. And then when all the turkey's gone and all the ham gone, we get mad. But at the first of the year, they're going to get their 10 pounds of chitlins and bringing it in the new year. So anyway, Rashiki, bring us on in tomorrow. You there? Are you frozen?
I'm here. That was funny, Rahh. All right. So tomorrow we have Brother Messiah coming back for part 2 of Who's Pulling the Strings. So that should be interesting. Young brother coming back to further what he was talking about. So I'm looking forward to that. What we got next week, Professor Rahh?
I'm trying. Well, I know in December, Dr. Karenga is going to come on and do a Kwanzaa, the history of Kwanzaa. I don't know. I'll talk with Joe. We'll figure out something.
Okay.
For next week.
All right. So each one teach one in Conscious Corner. We're going to take our pause.